Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Velocity 2016 in Santa Clara. I'm here with Lee from New Relic. Lee, how you doing?
Just fine. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So what do you do at New Relic?
Well, I'm an architect. I've been with New Relic for about 4 years, and just recently I've been moved to do more of an outreach with the architecture role to try and help our customers learn what our architecture is, as well as help them with their architecture concerns as well, too.
Okay, so you're an architect, and
Yeah.
that's why you wrote a book, Architecting for Scale.
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and so what is in that book? What
Yeah.
does architecting at scale mean?
So the idea behind the book is, as you build a web application and it scales, you run into a lot of different problems. And you run into problems not only of the traditional scaling of you need more servers, you have more traffic, but also your applications get more complicated. You have more features coming in, you have more people working in the code base, complexity grows, and at that point in time you typically run into availability issues. And the whole purpose of the book is to help you, give you visibility into, or give you strategies on how to discover what problems might occur within your applications to help you avoid those availability issues.
So this is kind of preemptive. Before you even start building, you're
That's
talking
the
about
goal.
how do you scaffold the whole thing and figure out how you can make it to where it expands and grows with your needs?
Oh, I would say less at that early on, but it's more a matter of you have an application, it is growing, and you know you're either starting to see problems or you know the problems
They're
are
coming.
coming.
Yeah.
And what can you do now to help you with that? So I talk about things like risk management and building risk matrices and figuring out what your real risk is within your application, what things can go wrong, which ones really are critical, which ones are not critical, and that sort of thing.
And so it's really still about scale there too, right?
Yes,
Because you're
absolutely.
picking out the pieces that the problems that are typically going to happen as you scale.
Absolutely.
And what are some of the common at scale?
By far the biggest one is, as you scale, it is so easy for what seems like a real simple piece of logic to turn, for the complexity of that to grow out of bounds very, very quickly. And what happens is you start seeing little problems. You start seeing this issue affecting this area, but those at scale start replicating themselves to the point where now you're down for 20 minutes, and your customers don't like that. And yeah,
And
okay,
neither
we
do
can
you
deal
as
with that.
a financial
well,
company, right?
absolutely,
Right,
that's right. And then you're down again for 20 minutes, and then now you're trying to figure out, now you've got a crisis, and now you're trying to figure out what's going on, and really it little by little picks at you until it really becomes a major issue. And I've worked in many companies. Every single company I've worked with has this magic transition point in time where their application becomes successful enough that, they have to deal with these issues, and they're almost always not prepared organizationally to deal with it. But by the time they're out of it, now they're prepared. But it's, and now they can move forward with it, but they really need the knowledge earlier, and that's what I hope to do with the book.
Is there a kind of rule of thumb of when scale makes things really hairy? Is there a point in time that a company is going to know this is going to get really hairy, we have to really think about what we're doing?
The moment that you start thinking and using the word scale as a thing versus, when you're a small
Just
company.
add another feature.
Exactly, yeah. When you're a small company, you're just starting out, you're thinking scale means I'm successful, and that's all you're thinking about. But the moment you start thinking about, I'm going to have to add some capacity here, and that's not quite as easy as I thought it was. The moment that happens, that's where I would start getting engaged in this. That's when I start thinking about
picking up your book and
picking up the
reading
book and reading it. But certainly the very first thing I would tell people to do is fill out a risk matrix. Figure out what your risks are with your application. Do the thinking, do the planning, do the thought processes within your organization to understand where your risks are, and figure out, is this one really one I need to worry about or not? And what are the highest priority ones? And what often happens is companies will start focusing on fixing technical debt because they know they need to do that,
right,
but they won't fix the right technical debt. They'll focus on certain things that seem to be problems, but if they really took a step back and said, what really are the big things that are affecting my business, that are affecting my customers, that are affecting my bottom line, and focus on those first, they'll come up with a different set of answers and come up with a different set of things that they should be focusing on. And that's the hope here, is that you find the right things to focus on to improve and to do better at.
Whether it's security or other things that are important to that company at that time.
Exactly, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how does a CIO go about figuring out what is the most important things for them as they scale their application? Is it they have to read? Is there some rule of thumb or?
Well, I think they have to take action, and then the action involves understanding organizationally how they are working and what their issues are. The one word that describes all of this is visibility, organizational visibility, understanding what your organization is doing, what it's good at, what it's not good at, what your application is doing well and what it's not doing well, what your infrastructure is doing and what it's not doing well, and understanding that.
What you're good at and what you're not good at? Do they know what they're not good at typically?
They need to. I mean, they really need to know that. And there's there is some soul searching that goes on in this process. You absolutely have to understand and have to be willing to say, yes, I'm good at this. Yes, I want to do this. No, we really don't have a competency here. We need to figure this out. You really need to be willing to do that. And it's not an easy thing to do, but you really do need to be willing to do that.
So, Lee, in the next 12 months, when you think about architecting at scale, and a lot of companies are going to be scaling this coming up year, what do you think are the most important factors that New Relic will be bringing to your partners in the next 12 months?
So I think we're going to be seeing more and more focus on microservice-based architectures, large-scale applications that have distributed ownership. And so as we move to those sorts of architectures, as we move, DevOps becomes mainstream, not just in the smaller companies, but in the large-scale enterprises. And we're going to start seeing that this distributed ownership of code all the way to support is going to become critical. And I think New Relic plays a great role in giving the visibility to the owners of a code base what the visibility of their piece of the application is and how it affects the rest of the universe. And I think we're going to see more and more of those sorts of things coming to light as we go forward.
Excellent. Lee, we look forward to that journey with you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.